Word on the street is that some of you guys have been coming after 55 for his grades on the social media.
Oh, boy.
And let me tell you something. Lance, by the way.
Get him calm. Get him calm.
Well, listen, I am not unfamiliar with attacks on social media. I am familiar. So you just got to hold strong, and your grades are your grades, and your opinion is your opinion, and your standard is your standard.
The standard is the standard, Carm. The standard is the standard.
Do we need to remind people what the standard is for the grading scale, as we have a new graphic for you, which looks sweet? Look at that guy. That's good work by Steven right there. And here's the reminder, Steven, we got this, right? Here is the standard for what we're looking for.
Defensive standard. Defensive standard means you got to hold your offense to under 200 yards passing, under 100 yards rushing, below 30% on third down. All right? You have to be up 50% on fourth down. You have to be at least 50% on red zone. That means them being able to convert. So on fourth down, if they have 2 fourth down plays, we have to stop them at least one out of those 2 times. Same goes for the red zone. Means that we have to be +1 in the turnover ratio, meaning if our offense fumbles the ball, we have to take it away 2 times. That puts us in the +1 on the turnover ratio. Defensively, we also need to score or set up a score during that game when the critical situation. Okay? And one of the things that the Bears defense has been doing, they've been winning the critical situation. What we have not done well, we haven't been able to stop the run. All right? Before last week, before the dominant performance against the Eagles, they gave up 186 yards rushing. They were the opposing team was 100% on fourth down. They were also 100% in the red zone. These were the reasons why the grade for the defense drastically went down.
I love it. And it's good to reset the standard so that you guys understand that he's not just pulling these grades out of thin air. He's actually, he's looking at all of these different categories and telling you, hey, this isn't up to standard.
Right. We're not just doing the eye test here. We're doing the numbers test. We're doing it's all boiled into one big pot of that comes out with the beautiful grades. Do we want to play as normal open here for the professor?
Well, we got the offensive standards.
Oh, offensive standards. My bad. Let's
go offensive standard.
Yeah, my bad.
So offensive standard. Offensive standard passing over 200 plus yards passing. Got to rush for at least 100 yards or more. We always want more, and the Bears have done that consistently. That's definitely been their identity. Third down, 40% or more or better is going to be good for offense. You're converting. Fourth down, got to be 75%. All right, we have to win that part. All right, we get into the end zone. We're getting that fourth down. Those fourth downs, we got to win them. Okay, because it gets very dangerous. You're turning the ball over to the other team if you don't convert there. Red zone, we have to convert. The Bears have been very good in this area, but you have to put points on the board when you get into the doggone red zone. And most importantly, we must protect the ball. 0 turnovers creates wins for the Bears.
Now we can do, I believe, Lance's official open into the professor's grades this week. Bears crushing the Eagles 24-15.
Yes, the professor is back. I haven't put no B+. There's no way. That is the lowest grade I've given this year.
Well, they're going to be higher this week. We know this. Go ahead, Professor.
All right. Bear fans will be happy with this week's grades. All right. I don't think they're going to beat the Cowboys. We had straight A's. We had one smidgen on this one right here. Offense, A-. Look, they look good. All right, they look good, and against an Eagles defense, we really had our way with them. We had 200 yards rushers. We had passing. We had 144 yards passing, which is lower than we'd like. 281 yards rushing. We were 10 of 17 on third down. Fourth down, 1 of 3. Red zone, we were 2 for 3, and we allowed 2 sacks and did give the ball up 1 time.
Yeah, I like that it's an A- too because, there's very little to quibble with, but it wasn't perfect because Caleb's accuracy still could have been better. I thought his decision-making was actually really good, but there were still some missed opportunities. So, phenomenal game offensively, but I think the A- is spot on because it could still be better, which is a great thing
Yeah.
to be able to say.
We'll play a little bit of Ben on the passing game before we get out of here today, and he was not holding back anything. Like we are winning in spite of our passing attack right now, which I was not expecting him to say that, but he said it today. So they're real. He's very much living in the same reality that if we get the passing game going to what you're talking about, who knows what could happen this year. All right, go ahead, defense.
Defense, fellas. Defense. We haven't seen this in a while. Defense got an A-. Okay. They held the Eagles to 317 total yards. Okay. They had Eagles had 230 yards passing, which is a little bit higher. It's about 30 yards higher than what you want. But the 87 yards rushing was huge. That's huge right there. The Eagles were 4 of 12 on third down. Bears win that as well. They didn't go for it on fourth down. The Eagles were 1 for 2 on the red zone. That's 50%. That's what we're looking for. We didn't get to the quarterback. No sacks. However, we did take the ball away 2 times, and the Bears have been consistent there. That to me, and then I think the ultimate grade here is 15 points. When a team scores 15 points, you should be able to. Any team in the NFL should be able to win a game.
So all right, let's go second half here, Lance. What do we got?
All right, special teams. Special teams actually got the lowest grade of the group. I gave them a B+. All right, you look, Cairo Santos, he was flawless in windy conditions. You know, the coverage units, I feel like they were dialed in. They were minimalizing the returns of the Eagles. Torrey Taylor was solid. You know, I don't think it was his best day, but he had a solid day. You know, I think the one player that did kind of stun out was Josh Blackwell. He had some decent returns. You know, the thing that I think held back this grade for me from getting an A is there wasn't a big play. It wasn't a score or set up a score situation, you know, and I believe that this phase is just as important as the other 2 phases.
Yeah, I'm still going to sit here and call for Luther Burden to get a return at some point this season, and I don't know if that call will ever be answered. But again,
I asked Richard Hightower that one.
I've asked it a couple different times, but also because we have this great segment called X's and Hogs on Thursdays. I have not been at the coordinator press conferences for a few weeks,
okay,
so that makes it a little bit hard logistically. But yeah, I agree with you, Briggs. It'd be nice to get just a little bit more out of this return game at times. Obviously, got the big return a few weeks ago that helped set up a game winner.
Huge.
With Duvernay, but just a little. I mean, look. I mean, yeah, we all saw Devin Hester, so we're spoiled, and I think that's why.
Spoiled.
But the standard's the standard, Briggs, right?
The standard's the standard, man. That's it.
And I don't want to go too far on Josh Blackwell, and I just speaking frankly, I really like Josh Blackwell. He's one of my favorite people in that locker room, so I'm rooting for him. But he's done a nice job, Blackwell, getting his opportunities to take it back and the block kick this year. He's had a good professional year, my guy Josh Blackwell. But sure, we could use a little more sexy at some point here. All right, coaching,
gentlemen, this is the grade that I think pisses the fans off. Has been pissing the fans off the most over the weeks. You know, is the coaching grade, and nobody puts Ben Johnson in the corner. Okay, coaching gets an A. Okay, the reason why coaching, it's an umbrella, and Ben is responsible as the head coach for all of those phases. So if one of those phases or 2 of those phases are lacking, you know, you can't get an A grade if you have a D, if you have 2 Ds, or if you have a C and a D. All right, that's not the way it works. Okay, and for most of the fans, listen, I understand. I do a good job of removing my emotion from the grade and making sure that the standard is the standard. Okay, it is nothing to. It's not personal. It's not personal. Everybody, we all want to see the Bears succeed, and he earned an A in all of the phases.